Hi there, welcome to All Colors. I'm Erica. Welcome to the second part of the color along in World of Flowers from Johanna Basford. We, in the first one, we did the background and a little bit of the bottle in this lovely page here. So I used oil pastels in the background and then some pencils, color pencils on top, did color pencils for all the gold work, and then also added in some sparkly gold gel pen in different places around on the bottle as well. So plan for today is we're going to do the inside of the bottle here and the butterfly and hopefully finish up the rest of the page because there's not that much left to do, but I just wanted to make sure that we kind of that I had a plan in place before I started because my brain's kind of jumping all over the place, but I'm here and I'm ready to get some stuff done. So we are going to use some water-based markers. Now you can use any water-based markers you have. These are the ones that I have. I have a couple of Tombow markers that I'm using, 723 and 451. So these are a pink and a very light blue. And then I'm using some of my Zig brushables, which I love these markers. I talk about them pretty often. Some of these I've had for years and years and years, and they're still awesome. I use them all the time. So I have a really pale pink, a really pale purple, a light green, and then a darker green. And each marker has a light and a dark color on either end. So different color on either end. So those are going to be kind of the colors that I'm going to be using. And I'll zoom you in here and we'll just go ahead and get started. We're going to do a marker base first and then come in with our color pencils and get the rest of this done. So I will talk to you again here in a second. All right, so we're going to get started with the flowers here. And I've got this really nice green. So this is the spring green color in the Zig brushables. And I'm going to use the darker color on all of the stems. So I'm just going to go through and color all of the stems in with this darker green color. This might work better if I was using a fine liner because it's kind of hard to get this little this brush tip in all of these tiny little spots without getting it everywhere else. So that's fun. All right, I'm just going to continue to do this and then we'll come back and I'll show you. I'm going to use the flip side for all the leaves. All right, so now I'm going to use the opposite side. So this is a lighter green. I'm just going to go ahead and color in all of these leaves. You know what? Let me see if I can get my lighter green. Okay, I have even a lighter green. So this is the cool cucumber color. And I'm going to use this for some of the bigger leaves, but use that darker green for the smaller leaves. So you can really see the difference in the two colors there. So this is the light side and the dark side, and then again, light side and dark side, but there's not as much of a difference in this one. So I'm going to use I'll use this one on some of these smaller leaves back here, just to get a nice variation in greens. So again, you can use whatever water-based markers that you have on hand. Just kind of vary your greens. That's really all you got to do. Okay, so now I'm going to use the lighter color, the lightest green that I have. When you're using water-based markers, just remember to move the marker pretty quickly across the page. That way you'll kind of reduce the likelihood of streaks. But since these are smaller areas, you really don't have to pay that much attention. You just don't want to go over and over and over the same place multiple times because that will cause some bleed through and damage to the paper. And then these little grass thingies here. Again, this would probably be easier with the fine liners, but this is what I grabbed. Okay, all the greenery's done. I like that. So now I have Let's see, I have a couple pinks, a couple purples. I really like this turquoise color that I have on this end. This is a little too dark, but this turquoise color is really nice. And then a light blue and another pink color. So we're really going for kind of pastel kind of vibe, but the background of this is going to have similar colors to what's in the background here. So I kind of wanted the flowers to stand out a little bit. I didn't want them to blend in with the background too much. I'm trying to decide if I want to go for really like light colors or what I want to do. I think I'm going to use this turquoise one on these flowers up top. Oh, sorry if I wasn't on screen. So I'm just coloring those ones up top there. I do have to add in a little bit of green back in for the tops there. Okay. I think maybe the blue would be a good one for all of these kind of flowers that are shaped similarly. That's what I try to do with my Johanna pages, is I want to make sure that I get, go through and find all of the flowers that are shaped similarly, or, you know, how some of them that have like the same number of petals if they're not all shaped similarly, and then I'll just pick one style to go through and do the same color. And typically she's really good about spreading the different flowers out around the page, so you're not going to get like one big chunk of color in one area. But you can, like, if it does happen, you can still then go through and spread this color out a little bit more. See, so I've got some here, and I'm going to be able to have a little bit over here too. And then if I decide to, I could probably, I don't know, maybe bring some blue down into this flower detail, or on the butterfly. You kind of want to move your color around. Typically I like to have it in like 3 places around the page, so it kind of creates a triangle focus effect. Okay, so this is a darker pink, and I think I'm gonna do this one with the darker pink. Again, I'll be coming through and using my colored pencils to add some shading and some highlights and things like that. And if it's a larger area when you're using your water-based markers and you know that there might be some streaking, you can use the streaking to your advantage. Kind of go in the direction that you would like maybe those streaks to appear. So for this petal here, you can kind of see that I went in the same direction that the petal was curving. And the same thing for this one here. I kind of made sure that my coloring strokes were going in the direction that would be good for streaks to show up. All right, I'm gonna use the lightest pink on these guys. Okay, I am gonna use this turquoise color again. I know it's a really dark color, but I like it. And I think I'm gonna do this flower and this flower in that color. Okay, then we've got some purples, right? I think I'm also gonna do this little bit darker pink on, let's do it over here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and color this lighter pink in the centers of these flowers, this flower. I want to have purple on here, but I don't want that to be super dark, so I might just do my pencils on that one and then use my markers on these ones down here. Okay, and we'll color this other one a little darker with the darker purple. All right, I'm just gonna pop back in with my green and color in these leaves. All right, yeah, so then that's gonna get some color pencil work. Let's think about what we wanna do with these guys. I think I might bring in some glitter pens as well for this bit. So I think I'm gonna do maybe the inside part with marker. Let's pick the darker pink, I think, for this one. We'll color this part here with the pink. And then this part down at the bottom, maybe we'll do that with the purples. I'm going to use the lighter purple on the larger part of the petal. And we'll use the darker purple. Butterflies are always the hardest for me. I'll be able to get these flowers done no problem, but the butterflies always give me a struggle for some reason. Okay, let me see if I can find a good purple. Okay, I have this old purple gel pen from Art, and I'm just going to go ahead and use for the outline around the flower here. We're going to use another old Art. This is a nice pink. I don't love that. Well, there we go. It's done. It's only right in the center of the page, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll blend in. It won't be that obvious when everything else is colored in. Okay. That was a little more hot pink than I was looking for, so maybe I can dull it down with this other pink. I'm just going to go right over top of this, and maybe it'll... Sometimes you can blend your gel pens if you work quick enough. Yeah, it's still not quite as... I don't love that so much. All right, so let me pull my colored pencils out, and we'll get started on the rest of this. Okay, so I'm still using the Arttx pencils, and these are the same colors that I'd used on the background. So again, I'll go over them with you. It's Jade Blue, Chartreuse, Parrot Green, True Green, Spring Green, and Violet Blue. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of do an abstract-ish background. I do want to focus heavily on this turquoise color with bits of these greens probably popping in. These two lighter greens around specifically the flowers that are turquoise. I'll do a little bit more of these greens, but that's kind of my game plan. So I'm just going to randomly add in little bits of turquoise here and there. Leave some areas open. Okay, so then from that we can use, so I did the turquoise, and we'll use a little bit of this true green, just blending it right together. All right, so let me use this spring green right around this flower a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll use the true green again. Again, just kind of blending things into other colors. So I'm just going to continue to do this all the way across the background. I'm just switching back and forth between different colors and blending things as I go. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to do that all the way across, and I will speed that up for you guys. It's really, there's no rhyme or reason necessarily. It's just kind of what feels. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes when I say those things, but it is kind of about what feels right. Like I just want to add a little bit of this color here and a little bit of that color there, and just kind of go. I probably will either add in some of this dark violet blue or the parrot green in some of the really dark areas where I want a little bit more contrast. But yeah, that's basically the game plan all the way across. And then all of these little holes in the bottle, like in the metalwork, those are all going to be a little bit of turquoise, a little bit of parrot green, a little bit of violet blue, probably. So let me show you one of those really quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and, so I'm using, oh, sorry, this isn't turquoise. This is jade blue. So I'm going to use a little bit of that. And leave it kind of open, a little bit lighter in the center. Then we'll use a little bit of violet blue. And that's going to make the darkest shadowed areas really look dark. And then we'll use the parrot green to blend that out even more. And I guess a little bit of the green too. So some of the spring green will probably go right in the center. So that's kind of going to be what the all these little spaces in between the gold work is going to look like. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do that. I'll speed this up so you guys can see, and I will talk to you again here in a second. All right, so I'm going to do this top part up here kind of the same way that I did all of this background here. But since there's turquoise flowers in there, I'm going to start with this spring green, and we're going to just get that laid in there right around the flowers first so that I know kind of that's where I want that color to go. Then we'll bring in the jade blue. All right, and then I think I want this little top area up here to be a base layer of the true green. So we'll put that in up here. Okay, so that's the first layer, and now we're going to bring in some of these darker colors. So I'm going to go right along this line around the outside edge with the violet blue. This line of dots that she's drawn in. Just kind of continue that line around for myself as well. Okay, then I'm going to use the, nope, not that one, parrot green. And we're going to blend over top of that violet blue. And I can continue this parrot green kind of off of that edge too. Come back in again with the jade blue, do another layer of that. In just certain areas here. And then finally come back in with the spring green and use that kind of as the blender for the whole thing. Blend that color out into all of the other ones. Okay, I do want to come through one more time with the violet blue just to darken up this line around here. All right, I feel like that background kind of reflects what's leaking out of the flower jar now. So hopefully that looks pretty cool. I'm going to do this bit up here with the same gold combo that I used for the other golds. Okay, so that combo again is lemon yellow, jasmine, goldenrod, and sienna brown. So those are the 4 colors that I use. I didn't end up using quite as much of the jasmine, but that's kind of, that was my base for it, but I don't think I'm going to use that at all this time. I'm just going to go ahead and start with the goldenrod. No, we'll start with the jasmine. And I'm just going to put my dark colors where I know I want dark. And these pencils blend out well enough that You don't really have to worry about that too much. You can, as long as you don't push too hard, you'll be fine blending in all these. Okay, this one again this way. Some of this I'm going to use my gold gel pen on as well. So I'm leaving some areas blank. Okay, so then I use the goldenrod. I'm going to go ahead and use the jasmine just really lightly across the center areas here. And then I'll use the lemon, and that really makes it a super yellowy gold. And that goes over everything that I've colored so far. So over the brown, over the goldenrod, over the jasmine. And if I feel like the brown's not dark enough, I can come back in and add in a little bit more just to get that contrast really high. That really makes your metals look more metal when they have a high contrast. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add in the gold up here since I already know that I'm going to do that. So we'll just go in this area all the way across. All right, so now we really have to do the butterfly, don't we? Oh, I can work on the flowers some more. Let's do that. All right, so we're going to work on the flowers a little bit. I did grab a few more colors. So first I have the lilac, and we're going to use that to create a little bit of color on this flower. So I'm just going right along the lines that Johanna has drawn in. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a little bit of this pink, and I'm just going to come out from the outside edge back towards the center a little bit. I'm going on the opposite side from where I've drawn in the purple color. Just for a little bit of extra color, and then I'm going to use my white Prismacolor to kind of blend that all together a little bit. And then I think I'm going to use this purple color again. We're going to use this. Oh, what was this one? This one's lilac. Use that there, and then I'm going to use the violet for the center. Okay, that looks cute. I like that. All of the greenery I will be shading with 3 colors. So I've got dark green, grass green, and spring green. The spring green is really close to this color, so I don't know if you can see this one already. I'll move the page just a little closer. So this leaf right here, oh, that's too close maybe. I don't know if it's focusing, sorry. This leaf right here I've already done a little bit on. So basically that's what I'm going to do over and over, and I'll show you how I did that. So I used the grass green, and you just kind of draw along one side of the center of the leaf. And then whichever side you do that on, you take the other side and you kind of add a little line right along the outside edge. And then from there, you're going to use your spring green to blend that back into the marker. You don't have to do a ton because it's kind of already there for you. And on any of the darker leaves and stems, I'm going to use the dark green to kind of get that same effect. And a little bit of the grass green to blend it out. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'll do through this whole thing. I'm just going to go through and start shading things in. I might bring in a little bit of this violet blue as well, because that's a good shadow color, especially layered over top of like greens and stuff. It really works well. So I'm going to go through and just get all of the shading done on the greenery, and then we'll come back and work on a few more flowers. Okay, on these blue flowers, I'm using cerulean as my shading color. I'm going to do something similar to what I did with the leaves Just add a little bit of color at one side of the center line there, and then a little bit of color on the other side of the petal. Don't really have a blend color for this one, so I'm just going to lighten up my color as I get farther from the center. All right, got that one, the blue one's done. Let's do some pinks. So I'm just going to add some of this just regular pink right onto the marker here. On this lightest pink, it's just gonna be a little bit of a blend. And on the darker pinks, I'm using rose red. And I'm going to add shadow where the petals overlap, and then a few strokes upward. When you do those strokes, you just want to make sure that you keep in mind the direction of the petal, like which way the texture of the petal would be going. So for like the inside ones here, it's going to be going a little different than for the outside ones. Okay, and I'm also going to bring in my white and flick downwards too from the edge of the flowers on this one. That just gives extra little bit of detail. And then also on this one down here, I'm going to do a little bit of a darker pink at the edges of the flower. And then kind of shade inward a little bit. All right, I like that. Purples. So I have the lilac, which is almost the same color as this lighter one, but it still does create a little bit of a difference. And I'm just shading from the center towards the outside edges of the petals. And then with this darker one, I'm going to use the violet and kind of do the same thing, where it's darker in the center and then lightens up as you get towards the outside edge of the petal. And again, I can bring in my white and bring some stripes in from the edges of the petal to lighten it up even more. All right, turquoise one. That one's going to be a mix of the violet blue and the parrot green, I think. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to start with the violet blue, and then we'll use the parrot green to blend that out a little bit. Yeah, not a lot of shading on this one, but I think it's enough. All right, and then the same up on these ones up here up the top. Just do a few strokes with the violet blue, and then use the parrot green to kind of blend that out a little bit. And then maybe some white from the tip. That works. Okay, so then I just have to do some of the centers here. I thought I'd use kind of the same, some of the same colors that I used with the other gel pens. So we'll do these little stamen with that gel pen, and then probably a white Artistro pen here. That works there. Let's use this purple gel pen for the centers of these two guys. They're pink over here. And then we can do for the blue ones, we can just leave those white, I think. So I'll just use a little bit of clear jelly roll. There we go. All right, and then the centers of these two flowers, these other ones that we colored on the bottle, I'm just going to go ahead and color those in with gold. All right, how are we looking? So really we just have a little bit of embellishment in the background on here, maybe a little bit on the flowers and the butterfly, which I've been putting off, if you couldn't tell. So we'll do that next. Okay, I think I've decided. So we're going to bring back some of the colors that we used on the flowers. I'm going to do purple for around the center parts of the wings and then pink as we move out. So I think I'm going to do, maybe I won't do that pink. I'll do these pinks instead. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so this whole section here is going to be purples. I'm using the lighter purple so that I can come in with pencils and add some shading in areas if I want to. And I also want to keep in mind that anywhere where there's like an outline, that is going to be gold. So I hope that makes sense. It should once I'm done with the coloring portions. All right. Okay, that looks about right. So I'm just going to color one half of the butterfly here with you guys, and then I will do the other half off screen. Okay, so I'm going to use the darker pink on this one for this section here. The same in this section here. And then we'll use the lightest pink. All right. Okay, let me grab my pencils really quick that I need. So for this we have the rose red, the pink, the lilac, and the violet. I think that'll do it. And I'm not going to go like super detailed. I'm just going to start with the violet at the center. Shade that a little bit. And then add in the lilac to blend it out. Kind of the same thing here. And then in anywhere where there's like a darker bit, I am going to use this pencil just to kind of get this purple or this violet, just to kind of darken those areas up a little bit. And then the same thing down here with the purples. Start with the violet in the center areas and then blend it out a little bit with the lilac. All right, that's good. So now I'm going to use the rose red. And then we'll use the pink, kind of for the same thing on this lightest area. Okay. All right, I think I like that. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this gold for sure on the antenna. And then on the body, I think as well. Okay. All right, here's where it gets tricky. I'm trying to figure out how much gold, like sparkly gold, I want on here. I think, yeah, we're just going to go for it. Okay, so this whole outside edge of the wing is going to be gold. All right, and then this little section here is also going to be gold. And then the tiny little dots that are on the butterfly on the purple section are going to get little gold dots. I don't know if that's, I'm not trying to line up the dots too closely. It'll be fine. It just brings some of that gold into that whole section. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom wing. So this whole outside area is going to be gold. all of the little dots and circles. And then all of the outliney bits here as well. All right, so that's that. I got to figure out what to do with this part out here. I'm not sure. I don't think I want the whole section to be gold. I think I want it to be a very light pink. So I think what I'll do is maybe just add a little bit of pink in the corner here and then just really lightly blend that out. I can use my white Prisma to blend that out a little bit too. I just want it to be barely pink. Okay. And then I'm going to take the gold and we'll do these little corner pieces, but then the other pieces I'm just going to outline. Okay. I think that'll do it. I think also I'm also going to just here on this flower, I'm going to outline that black line. I hope that that kind of detracts from that bright pink that I used there. I wish I would have just done gold around it, but that's okay. All right. Okay, I like that. And then I'm also gonna, sorry, one more thing. I'm gonna use my gold again, and instead of the clear on the centers of the blue, we're gonna add the gold. Just to bring that gold out into the flowers a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna go off screen and do this other side of the butterfly exactly the same way. I'm also gonna fill in these little bubbles. We're just gonna go ahead and do them with gold because I don't know really what else I wanted to do with those. So I think they kind of look cool, just all sparkly. It's fun when you can add in these little sparkly embellishments just in different areas. It just adds a little bit extra to your page. Okay, I'm gonna go off screen and finish up this side of the butterfly and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so the butterfly is all done. I'm hoping you guys can see how much sparkle and shine is on that. It's really sparkly. So the last step is going to be adding in some white gel pen. I'm just going to use my Artistro because I don't know where my Posca went. And anywhere where there's a little circle or dot in the background here, and then a couple of places maybe on the flowers, I'm just going to add in some white paint pen. So we're just going to go through, and like I said, anywhere where Johanna has drawn in any dots or circles. Just going to add in the white. Okay, so those are all the places that she's drawn in. I am going to add in my own little bits and pieces as well. So I'm just going to add in a few little spots in these open areas, so it looks like maybe you can see some of the inside of the bottle. I am also going to outline the black line of the bottle itself. Okay, and then the last thing that I'm going to do, which is going to be a little bit scary, is I'm going to take my little bit thicker Posca pen. So I have the 3M, I think that's what, yeah, 3M. And I'm going to draw in kind of the, like the glass is reflecting. So it's going to have a little bit of a reflection line right there. But that one doesn't quite get as dark as I want. So that was just kind of like a guide. So now I'm just going to bring in my Artistro. Hopefully I can get enough paint flowing. This part always scares me when I'm doing any kind of glass work. So I feel like I'm just ruining what I've just spent all of this time on. Okay, so that's not gonna. And I like to do a couple of extra little bits here and there just to kind of make it look more like there's more reflections. And we'll do a little bit on this side too, but not as big as over here. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger at the top. Okay, and then we'll do, let's see, we'll do one right about here. If I can get my paint pen to cooperate. Well, it appears to be working. It's just not wanting to go where I want it to go. All right, I'm going to attempt it with this 3M again. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then I'll use the Artistro to just add in a few little bits and pieces here. We'll add in a little bit up here. And then I think that's good. So let me zoom out and we'll just make sure that we're done here. Okay, so here is the completed page. I think it turned out really cool. I love the sparkle on it. I think that that was a fun touch. The gold Sparklepop pens are just amazing. Not a great big fan of the colored gel pen I added in there, but yeah, it's okay. It's all right. So I'm going to kind of bring it up closer and angle it so hopefully you guys can see some of the sparkle and shine all on there. But I think it turned out really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that color along. Let me know if you did the color along with me, or, you know, whenever you get to it, if you decide that you want to color this with me, let me know. Tag me on Instagram. I would love to see. And that is it for today. So thank you guys so much for being here. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.